Let's f***ing roll. All right, everybody, welcome back to McBastard Studio. I'm Brad Banyas. You're listening to the SaltyMF Go podcast. Today is really going to be an interesting podcast with just a great guy, a musician, a brother, and the story just goes back on a long history of music and playing music together, some redemption, some sad things that happened, and some lost music that was recently found. And it's just one of the most amazing stories that I've ever heard, and I'm happy to have Joe Senger on the podcast today. Joe, welcome to the podcast.
All right, thanks, Brad. Thanks for having me, man. I'm glad to be here in the studio.
Yeah, you can call me brother.
Yeah, brother.
It's all right. You can call me.
I'm glad to make the trip up, man. And we had some other things going on. As I told you, we're playing some music in North Carolina. So rather than do this over the internet, it was great to get in here and be in the actual studio. Yeah. So it's pretty cool.
It's so cool to see people too. You and I talked a couple times and exchanged emails, and then, we do have, just so you know, and Joe's going to get into the story, but Dawson, our amazing kind of marketing and media person, wrote basically a blog about what Joe's about to talk about, and it is on saltymf.com. So I tell everybody to follow up and read it. It's an amazing story. So where are you going? First of all, where are you going to North Carolina to play?
We're actually going up to a place called the Blind Fox.
Yeah.
And then there's the Bank, which is like a bank food hall.
Yeah.
And we're going up to play this weekend. We're going to play Friday night at the Blind Fox, which is like a bourbon bar. Yeah. And then Saturday we'll be at the Bank, which is it's kind of like this old bank that they made into this food hall, and it's got a big bar in it. So it's going to be pretty cool. It's always cool to go play somewhere different.
That's awesome. What part of North Carolina is that in?
It's in Kannapolis.
Kannapolis.
Yeah. So
North Carolina, that's where I was born. North Carolina, it's a good state. It was just there in Raleigh and Brevard and Asheville last week. It's pretty space.
Yeah, it's cool. It's and actually the weather feels good. So
absolutely.
Being down in the humidity.
Oh yeah.
We're going through the second phase of Florida right now, where shit's coming back and it's hot as hell again. Yeah. So I think they're getting a cold front now down there, but yeah, it was it's been hot. You know how it is. It's like Thanksgiving comes up, man. Yeah. You're like, where did Thanksgiving come from, man? It's been 90 degrees and shit.
Absolutely. Man. I mean, Florida, the humidity's terrible. People ask me, well, what's it like living in Atlanta? Because, they call it Hot Atlanta. I said, well, it's kind of like the beach without the ocean and sand, but a lot worse from a humidity perspective. So Atlanta's terrible as well.
Yeah. But speaking of Dawson, man, I really did want to give him a shout out, and you guys as well, because, this Dawson, I don't know his age. I don't know. Yeah. We talked on the phone several times. I didn't ask him, but he's a great writer, man.
Absolutely.
To have on your staff. He's a good dude. We went over the phone. We had a good phone interview, and then I read back the blog, and my wife read it as well. And it's just amazing, his writing. And I even told him, I said, we need to maybe put this somewhere else.
Absolutely. It was funny because as I was preparing, and he's kind of handling all of our media online, and they took something where now you can just listen to the blog,
mm-hmm.
And so coming in, I just to reiterate, the story, I was just listening to it, and I just thought that was so amazing. And I was like, this story should be in some kind of music magazine or article, because it's just unbelievable. The time lapse, the things that occurred, just the love for your brother, and how you guys were close, and just like I said, it's like redemption, man. It's like it's just redemption. And I mean, we got to tell you got to tell the audience. We got to get into it, because I've read it, and to me it's like, just you kind of learning music, kind of behind the scenes, and sneaking in the basement and playing the drums, and it's just. It's such a good-hearted thing with some tragedy involved in it. But
yeah. So me and my brother, we grew up in Baltimore, and I had a brother and sister. My brother was 8 years older than me. I still have a sister. She's 6 years older than me. So they were older than me,
Yeah.
And when you have a brother 6 and 8 years older than you tend to get into a lot more shit at a younger age. You know what I mean? Like if I'm 10, they're 16, 18. What do you think I'm doing?
Beer with them.
Yeah. I might be burning and drinking a little bit, a little early. But my brother, he, and I didn't notice till later, because that's the other part of the story. There's a mental illness and and a situation there where it doesn't get discussed enough and doesn't get talked about. But he had bipolars and manic depression, which I didn't know. But when we were younger, he was in and out of trouble like crazy shit. Remember, he was older than me, so he'd be in and out of the house. He'd be, sometimes he went to reform schools. He, at one point he spent some time in foster care and some different things. And as a younger kid, it was strange to have him going in and out of the house. And you're like, man, where the hell's my brother going? Then when he'd come back, I'd be happy, and he'd be kind of like, frustrated and, there was a little abuse sometimes, but nothing major, what I mean? But so eventually he came back. He came back to live with us, and by this time, he had learned to play guitar from one of his foster parents. He picked up guitar, and he was playing in various bands like country bands, funk bands, and all this. And he was playing. This goes back before us, but he was playing in this band called Pentagon, which was like an 8-piece funk band. The band was all black. My brother was the only white guy in the band, and like half the members were blind. So we'd sit on the porch. They'd get off the bus, and you'd watch these blind guys come down the street. And I was a young kid, so we'd watch them walk down the street, and they'd like turn right into our house. And I'm like, how the fuck are they doing this? How do they know where the house is? Yeah. But that amazed me. But, that was the first part of it. And then he had several bands. But going back to your point, like I would, eventually, that was probably, I was about 12 then. But as time went on, about 14, I would sneak down the basement and I would tap on the drums, I had rhythm and I would go down there and play. And just like anything else, he'd get upset when I messed with his records or messed with his friends' musical instruments, and, he'd get pissed off at me. But, eventually it went from all that to, I remember this one particular time, and I think we talked about it in the blog, but like I'm down there playing and he came home. Like I heard the door shut. And I knew my parents was working. I was like, oh, shit. Here we go. You know what I mean? I'm going to get involved in some shit. Something's going to happen. And he came down the steps and he was like, you know what? He's like, I'm going to buy you a fucking drum set and you're joining the band. And I was like, what? You know what I mean? I was like, you're crazy, So, and that was about 14 then. And that's what happened. He had decided that it was his time to take over, be the guy that did the band, start writing music, and he wanted to do all that. He was a big fan of John Lennon and Funkadelic and all these, various people that, really talked about social issues and different stuff like that. So he was really into that. So that's where it kind of all started. In 1979, we went down to Tony's Music Store in Highlandtown. Yeah. We call it Highlandtown, but it's Highlandtown. That's Baltimore slang. We went down to Tony's Music, and he got me like a used set of Ludwigs, and from that point on, we started playing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so you had your basement was kind of macked out, right? That's what was the studio, right?
I mean, at first it started out like, if you ever been in a row home basement, it was like cement walls and it was just cement floors and that's what it was. And everybody would come over and party and hang out, listen to us play. And there'd be, everybody that would come would write some shit on the wall, and there would be like graffiti all over the walls. And it was more like a punk basement than anything, But so they would, but eventually as time went on, my brother did some construction work and stuff. So he drywalled it, made it in studio and all that, and kind of took it from there. But so 79 is when we started, and we started as, just a cover band playing Stones, Zeppelin, Cream, all the classic rock and stuff. And, my brother just finally said, you know what, I want to write some of my own music. So he went out and got a 4-track recorder, and we started recording, some of our first originals, which is pretty amazing. And we did a couple records. One of them is a 45 that you can find all over the internet right now that sells up to $300 or $400 a copy, called Food Stamps. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So, I mean, did you have, just from a personal, like you obviously loved your brother, and usually younger brothers look up to those older brothers. So I've got 4 kids, so I know how the younger ones look up to the older brothers. But like, did you feel like you always wanted to play music, or do you think that was just totally his influence? You just kind of want to be around him?
The music was in me, right? That was always there. You can ask any musician. That should say it's in you. Yeah. And I remember taking his 45s and putting them on, we'll go back to the Beatles, but I remember this one 45 of the Beatles that had Revolution on it.
Yeah.
And the way that song starts off, man, and Ringo just sits that, you know, and the shit just comes in and you just feel it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about music, like it's all about energy and feeling, right?
Yeah.
And Ringo has a style. He's not the greatest drummer in the world. I'm not the greatest drummer in the world.
Yeah.
But when you got that passion, when you got that feeling, and you have that groove that nobody else has, that swing, because not everybody has that, you know, and you hear that and you can feel that at that young age. I think that was there. But to answer your words, like I wanted to play sports.
Yeah.
I wasn't good. I wasn't great at sports, but I liked soccer and baseball and all that. And I would play with the kids in the neighborhood, and I was mediocre.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I mean,
but in my mind, Jim Palmer, the pitcher, I wanted to be Jim Palmer, man. I wanted to be pitch. I'd throw the ball against the wall 1,000,000 times a day, you know. But music is where I wound up, you know. And he got me in the band, and then that's when I realized that, you know, chicks love drummers too. So
that's right. That's right.
You know,
I'm more of a tambourine guy because I can't do anything. So
and that's what which probably luckily got me my wife Debbie, which she's great. But yeah, I mean that's you know that's where it went to. You know, it went to that point. So. But just kind of, you know, going along with the story, we did the record. We did a couple records. We did one record. We did a 45. And then we did a record with a bass. We brought a bass player in. The first record, my brother played everything except drums, and I played the drums. And then the second record, we bought a bass player named Pete Molden, and he played bass, did a couple originals on the record, and we did like a kind of like an EP record. So it was a record at 33 RPM, but it had 2 songs on each side. So we did that, and then we kept playing, and then, you know, my brother over the years got more and more, you know, he was working. His whole goal was to build a studio and to get a better studio. So finally, I want to say in the late 80s, we got we wound up getting I'm going to probably say the wrong brand or whatever, but I think it was like a TIAC 8-track recorder. It was all in one. Like it had everything in it. It was you could record 8 tracks on it, which today is like 8 tracks is like bullshit. You know what I mean? It's like nothing. But to us, coming from 4 tracks, it was amazing. So that's when it really kicked off. That's when we started really getting things together. His writing just became more and more better. My influence on what was happening became better. You know, production wise, you know, I was the little brother, but I had a lot of, you know, good thoughts on production and how we made the music and how we made changes and how we arranged things. So, I mean, he was the main writer at the time, but I had a little bit to do with that too.
Yeah,
you know,
you had almost 10 years at it then. I mean,
yeah.
So you that reputation.
Yeah.
So when you guys, you had basically all these tracks were going to be basically put to the album, right?
Yeah. So our plans was to put out an album. That's what we always wanted to do. I mean, that was the goal. I mean, vinyl. I mean, and the funny thing was, as we were going through this, the age of music was changing. It was going from vinyl to CD. You know, like we were getting into where the vinyl was kind of going out. I mean, cassettes were kind of big at that time too. So. We started recording, and in '94 we finally decided to put something out. We weren't complete, but we said, hey, let's put out something. So we did like an EP cassette with like a couple tracks that we were going to do on the album, and a few of them were like outtakes that we didn't think would be on the album.
Yeah.
So we put out a song, and this is where it kind of gets interesting too. And I don't know how much I told you about this, but we put out a song called "A Jew and a German." And "A Jew and a German" is really a song about race relations, and it's about race.
Yeah.
So the beginning of the song, and it's you can find it it's everywhere out there on all the major sites, so you can stream it. But "A Jew and a German" starts out with a whole bunch of racial slurs. Yeah. And when you hear that song, the average person's like, whoa, taken back.
Yeah.
But my brother's thought was he was always about bringing people together.
Yeah.
And he wanted to shock people and say, this is bullshit. You know, why are you always calling people out their name? You know, I don't play myself. I don't live my life that way. So that was his way of putting that out. And in '94, that song, we played it for everybody of different colors. And they heard, and they'd listen to the song and they'd be like, oh, okay. And they listen to it and understand it. I think today, if that song kind of catches a little fire, there might be a little bit of controversy because things are different now,
Yeah, I think people are more sensitive. And I mean, I think that's the beauty of art, right? Is use art to make people think.
Yeah.
Right. And that was his idea behind it, right? Hey, let's start dropping F-bombs and names and whatever. And then it gets someone's attention. Then if you pay attention long enough, or you'll just get through the first 30 seconds of it, it'll tell the story of what really trying to happen.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And we don't, today's society, everybody gets butthurt
Yeah.
over shit that like, we would laugh at when we were kids. So.
Exactly. The whole cancel culture and everything, everything's not fucked up, right?
No.
You know what I mean? Like just because you say something or you joke about somebody, we all joke about each other. We all do shit that's funny. I don't care what color you are, who you come from. We all do some shit that's funny.
Absolutely.
I do shit that's funny all the time. You know what I mean? Like what?
Absolutely. I mean, it showed like people like, my dad used to like just give people shit when they came over to the house. All my friends, he just give them shit for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
And like, they're like, oh man, I don't want to come over to Dad's give me shit. I said, he likes you.
Yeah.
Because if he didn't like you, he wouldn't even talk to you. Right. Yeah. And so people don't realize that's part of the banter. It's kind of the, hey, is this guy gonna fold, or is this guy, can we fuck with this guy? Can we banter? Can he be our friend? Can he be part of what we're doing? Yeah. And that's lost in today's cancel society where everyone's soft about shit. But I love it. So you can fucking call me whatever you want. I love it.
Yeah. And back then we had friends, we lived in an integrated neighborhood. So we had friends of all colors, all different cultures. And we would come down and joke with them and say stupid shit to each other. And it was cutting up. It was fun. You know what I mean? And I worry about that with today. I'm not going to get too much into that bullshit, but I just worry about that. You know what I mean? And like comedians can't say shit. People can't say shit.
Absolutely.
Just have fun with some stuff, man. Some stuff is not meant to like really hurt anybody.
Absolutely. When you start regulating art too, we're going to have someone on, she's a local muralist, unbelievable, but she had painted something about Trump or whatever. And the whole art community like started ostracizing her and whatever, like, hey, this art is supposed to be expression, right? You're supposed to be able to express whatever you want. When the art community starts saying, well, you can't do this, or Dave Chappelle, you can't say this. I always loved Dave Chappelle because he gave everybody shit.
Yeah.
White people, Jewish people, Chinese people.
He's funny as shit too, man. And not only is he funny, but he's smart, he's intelligent. Yeah. If you listen to his stories and what he says, he's taking you, he's almost like the song. He's starting you here and he's going to bring you here. Absolutely. And at the end, you're sitting there going, oh, yeah, okay, I got what you're saying now.
Yeah, how would Andrew Dice Clay do today? I love that guy. I thought the guy was funny as shit. But, I mean, he would be ostracized, or someone would try to
he'd be canceled somewhere.
But he's funny as shit, But so I think also during that time, if I recall, like really the early 70s or late 70s, that's kind of when the whole crack epidemic hit, right?
Yeah, well, it was in the 80s. Yep, yeah. So that was a big part of the music too. Yeah. So the whole thing, the title "Too Many Junkies," the song "Too Many Junkies" is really about AIDS and sex. You know what I mean? It's about, at that time, like people were scared to have sex with people. You know what I mean? Because of the whole AIDS epidemic. So you had AIDS, you had crack going on, you had civil unrest. You had a lot of crazy shit going on, and that's why the album was called Too Many Junkies, and we wanted to put that out. But we put out the cassette, and that was the next step was to put out an album, and we just, for whatever reasons, we just never, there were songs that were never finished. We didn't get the songs finished. My brother got deeper into alcohol. I started to move on with my family, have children and responsibility, and I would still come down and see him, and I would tell my wife I'm going to rehearse. It was pretty much a drink session.
Yeah.
We would drink, and sometimes we'd play a few tunes, and we'd sit there and drink together. And I'd talk to him, and I'd say, hey, man, you got to, you need some help, man. You got to get some shit together. Alcohol and the manic depression was eating him alive, and he just never did it. But over time, we just kept going through all that, and but that was, and the other thing too is, you got to remember, when we recorded this album, this was like right before internet. So this stuff is like pre-internet.
Yeah.
It's like, it's back when, you didn't have all that. So you didn't have any kind of social media. You didn't have, I don't think anybody even had cell phones in 94 when we put that cassette out.
It's probably like beepers or pagers.
Yeah, pagers and shit. Yeah. So that, that's kind of where it went to, and it kind of, held there for a while. And then, over time, like I said, I just kept moving on progressively with family. I had moved from Baltimore in New York, Pennsylvania, and I continued to work. And then I was doing some original projects myself. I did a cassette tape called Stranded Max, which was my kind of thing about, just starting my writing development on my own, and I felt kind of stranded at that time because musically, and I was also kind of taking my next step,
right.
And then I formed a band in about that time called The Distractions. We had a female vocalist, and it was kind of I really loved Annie Lennox. I don't know if you're of the Eurythmics.
Yeah, absolutely.
And she was kind of that style, and I loved her, and I wrote a bunch of songs. So we wound up putting out a CD, and like I did, it was, to me, it was like I was trying to sell my songwriting ability, and like there was many different genres on there. It was like a rhythm and blues track, there was like a disco track, there was like a rock track. There was all these different tracks, and I was trying to showcase that I can.
Yeah, you can write.
I can write, all different styles. So didn't go too far with that, but we kept going with the band. So eventually, I was still in that stage where I was moving up in life and just looking to expand my career. And I'd been a meat cutter for years and got into sales a little bit. And a couple guys told me, they were like, man, if you want to go somewhere, you got to move, because you're not getting my sales job here in York, Pennsylvania. You're going to have to go somewhere else, So I started looking, and I wound up getting a job with Winn-Dixie in Florida at their corporate office. So I moved to Jacksonville, Florida. That's how I got there and moved there. Of course, my brother stayed here, and we would keep in touch, on and off and everything. And you know how brothers are. Sometimes you don't talk for a while,
Yeah,
and he was going through, a lot of different changes, and he had some psychosis, I believe, from the alcohol. He would call up and tell me crazy shit sometimes, and I would still try to talk to him and say, man, you got to get some help. You got to do something. And he also had, like, right before I left, he had a triple bypass.
Oh, no.
Yeah, heart attack. So he was at that point, he was, like between the alcohol, drinking a lot of alcohol. And I'm talking about like rum and shit,
Yeah. It's almost kind of like alcohol is almost kind of like, they're trying to medicate yourself from the bipolar.
Yeah. Self-medication.
And the manic side. I mean, I'm very aware of that. And it's horrific to watch as, a friend or family member or whatever it may be, because you know, like, just how much talented your brother was, just how passionate he was about music, just how great, like, things could be.
Yeah.
And you just watch him, and it's like you feel like you can't do anything. Like, you just.
Yeah.
And it doesn't fucking make sense.
No. Like, one day he's like on the top, hey man, we're gonna kill this shit. We're gonna be on top of the world.
Yeah.
And then the next day he's just not even there. You know what I mean? Like, that's what bipolar, that's what manic depression is. That's what everyday people feel that have that problem, and imagine going through life like that, where you feel like, and it's not even days, it could be hours.
Absolutely.
In the morning you feel like you're going to kill it, and in the afternoon you feel like, like shit's over for you.
It's horrible to watch, and it's not explainable,
And we just don't do enough as a society to, with every, we just don't put enough effort towards mental illness in this country, I believe.
I think people were like, even back then, like in your brother, I think it's something that's hard to diagnose. Like, I don't think now they're probably better at diagnosing it, but like probably then, people, diagnosing something and catching what it is versus just, putting them on all kinds of medication and not really knowing what the fuck's wrong.
Yeah. And like you said, like, I remember, like, when I was younger, I didn't know what was going on in my family, because my sister had some shit, and it was in the family. But, I just felt like, I don't know, people are just arguing, they're fighting all the time. I don't know what's going on. And then, like, I want to say like the late 80s or some shit. I'm watching 2020, the news magazine show, and they're talking about manic depression. I'm like, that's what it is. You know what I mean? Like, I've realized that's when it hit me. I was like, that's what's going on here, But
It's denial, and it's also denial.
Yeah.
You don't, like, because you see them at their best. You see them at their best.
Yeah.
Like, you saw your brother at the best. You see people at their best, and so you don't, like, you're, well, what the fuck? I mean, you're like, look what you're doing yesterday. I mean, you're amazing. Whatever. Now, what are you doing? Right?
Yeah.
It's hard for anybody probably that, in kids. You're off playing football or soccer, baseball, or chasing a chick. I mean, you don't. You're just like, he's being an asshole.
Yeah, and as a loved one, man, you see their good side. You know what they're capable
Absolutely.
of. You know what I mean? That's like so many people that are addicted, to drugs and alcohol are, this is bipolar or maybe a mental illness related. And people always say, well, why does the parent stick? Why do they keep doing this? Why? Because that parent or that person knows that person has a lot of good in them. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And they just don't, and the average person doesn't see that. They're like, oh, help with them, just throw them aside. But that's not what that person sees. So that's
absolutely. And in parent and family, I mean, if you're, everybody has fights in family, and you want to beat the shit out of your brother or sister sometimes. I've done it a few times, brother, not sister. But I mean, at the end of the day, that's your kid, right? I mean, that's your blood, and people always say, well, I mean, I don't be weird about it, but if your kid was a serial killer, you probably still love them.
Yeah.
As bizarre as that's your kid, right? So if someone's, doing things. The hardest thing is to watch someone to self-destruct.
Yeah.
Just watch them, and just like I've had several friends, alcoholism, drugs, whatever, and they're smart, and they were good people. They were good people in some ways, but just and like you're like, dude, I'm just watching you drive off the cliff, and there's nothing you can do.
Yeah. And
there's nothing you can do.
And that's the thing, is you don't realize that when you're going through it. The whole time you're going through it, you think there is something you can do.
Right.
And I think eventually people, parents, siblings, whatever, eventually get to that point where they realize there's nothing I can do for you. I've tried everything I can do, and there's nothing I can do for you. And that's where you get to the hard part, man. That's when you're like, that's what really kind of sucks.
Absolutely. And I mean, so, through all this, you and your brother still, talked, and, so he passed, right?
Well, yeah. So I moved down to Florida, and I was down here. Well, not here, but down in Jacksonville area. I was down there. I moved down. I took the job in late 2004. We moved down in 2005. And I think I came up to see him once within that time. And like I said, I kind of lost some communication with him in early 2006, like right after the holidays. And like I couldn't get in touch with him. And I was really worried because, like I said, he was calling me with some really crazy shit. Like he was going through, like he was, calling me up about, did you see Beyonce last night? And I wrote that song, like crazy shit, And
maybe he did. You don't know, man.
But I got kind of worried, and I was like, because I couldn't get in touch with him, and I know he was talking about the police and this and that, and I was like, man, I hope like he didn't get locked up or whatever. So anyway, like finally, I was like, I told my wife, I was like, I got to get up to Baltimore. I got to see what's going on, So I fly up to Baltimore myself, and I go up there, and he lives in this 4-story building in downtown Baltimore, right around the corner from the record store that he worked at. And, because he was going through this, he would keep all his windows closed, and, he would keep everything kind of like, when you looked upstairs, everything was shut, shut tight. So I get to his apartment, and I look up, and like all the windows are open, like they're all wide open. And right away I was like, something ain't right. Something's going on. So this woman comes out of the shop next door. I really can't remember what it was. It was some kind of little office building they had there. And she come out, and I said, have you seen Billy? And she said, Billy died 3 months ago.
Holy shit.
And I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me, And she's like, yeah, he died 3 months ago. And like right away, I just kind of stood, I mean, you can imagine when you find out, I mean, you're already worried that something's wrong, but then you get there and you find this out. And I'm like, and I mean, my first thought wasn't what he had or anything like that, but that goes through your mind too. Like, and she's like, yeah, they took a dumpster and they got rid of all of his stuff and all this stuff. And I'm like, what? Like you just, you can't believe it. You're like, and here's where the bullshit comes in. The landlord that owned the building, he was kind of like a hustler in town. I mean, he had a lot of different shit. He was doing hot dog carts, in this building, just like anybody else that had a bunch of side hustles, and he did a bunch of stuff. But he knew me. Like, we would go there and party. He'd come down the basement with us. We'd have some beers. He allowed my brother to play music in the basement. He had some equipment down there. We'd jam, and he'd come down and hang out a little bit. And so he knew who I was. Yeah. He knew I moved to Florida. He knew all this. But what he chose to do was, when my brother died, and they found my brother, because the other thing about the story that I forgot to mention was my brother, they don't know when he died. They found him like several weeks or maybe a month after his death. So he might have died in March, and they found him like in the middle of April. So nobody knows.
That's crazy.
So, and, of course, that whole time I'm trying to get in touch with him, So they, so all that happens, and he just, The guy just sells everything he could sell. His guitar collection. My brother had, for all the guitarists out there, he had like a solid body Les Paul, which was from, the late 70s. That guitar is probably worth, I'm guessing because I'm not a guitar player, but probably 12 grand right now. He had an Explorer, he had G&Ls, he had bass guitars, he had Stratocasters. I mean, he had a pretty sizable guitar collection. You know what I mean? Even if you sold them for bullshit, you're going to get some money out of that.
Well, that motherfucker probably didn't tell anybody because he probably sold the shit.
Yeah, that's what he did. He just sold. He sold everything. Yeah, he sold this. And then he had. My brother was really big into Lionel trains, the big Lionel trains.
Yeah, I had that as a kid. Yeah,
yeah, and that was his thing. That was his passion. And I bet you he had. And I'm not bullshitting. I bet you he had $20,000 to $25,000 worth of that shit because he constantly bought trains and trucks, and he had a big platform in his apartment. All this.
Was there? Could y'all legally do something to the guy?
Well, we took his ass to court. That's the first thing I said. I said we're taking him to court. So I tried to get something criminal done, and they said no. You got to take it to claims court or whatever. So we filed a complaint and we took him to court. And me and my sister came up several months later for the court trial. And when we got there, we walked in and we talked to the prosecutor, and he's like, do you have a list? Do you have anything with serial numbers or whatever that's gone, that's stolen? I said, no, I don't have nothing. He's like, well, you don't have a case. And I was like, you're fucking kidding me. Yeah. He's like, no, you don't have a case.
That fucker knew it too.
Yeah.
Now, you're a piece of shit wherever you're at.
Yeah. So he knew, and he had police buddies and shit. He had guys who were in the police. And I'm just saying nothing wrong with the police, but I'm just saying he had friends. I don't know what happened or what transpired, but he just chose that path to not tell anybody and sell my brother's shit. Now, did he owe some rent? Yeah, he owed some rent. But, he could have called me up and said, hey, man, your brother owes some rent. Can you pay this? You got to clean his apartment out. I'll give you to this time. If you don't do it, I'll do it. Anything.
I don't think he's worried about that if he's not even going to tell you that he died. So yeah, that's the only thing that was, that's more than questionable. I mean, that's a crock of shit.
Yeah. So I immediately, we were right at the cusp of getting his actual ashes. He was cremated through the state because he was non-claimed, which is another bullshit thing. But we just got his ashes in time. Me and my sister were able to claim them back, so we got those back. And then the next hurdle was I didn't want shit. I wasn't worried about where his Les Paul was, where his guitars were. I wasn't worried about any of that. I was worried about our original music. I was like, where is this music? How can I find this? Where was it thrown in a dumpster? Was it, what happened to the music? And that was my biggest thing. That's the only thing I wanted, Yeah. So I put this big, there was a magazine in Maryland at the time called Maryland Musician Magazine that eventually became the Music Monthly, is what they changed names. I think they changed owners, so they changed the name. So it was a Music Monthly, but I put an ad in the paper, kind of a retrospective or a salute to my brother, and also saying, has anybody bought anything or any tapes or anything? I'm looking for these tapes. And man, I'm telling you, several months later, and this is the only thing I can't remember, and I don't know why. I mean, it's just some things you just don't remember in life. Yeah. You think you would remember this, but I don't remember how this guy got in touch with me. I can't remember if it was email, if it was phone. Of course, there wasn't a lot of texting and shit going on at that time. It might have been email or through MySpace or some bullshit, back then. But this guy gets in touch with me and said, this was his exact words. He's like, hey, man, I got the tapes you're looking for.
Holy, that's amazing. Yeah. That's divine intervention, man.
Yeah. And he's like, I bought the recorder and I have the tapes. He's like, but I'm not giving up the recorder, but I'll give you the tapes. And I was like, dude, that's all I want. You keep that fucking recorder. I'll find a recorder. I'll buy one. I don't care. I just want those tapes. So we wind up a couple months after that, late December that year, I met him at a bar in Towson, Maryland. And I walked in, and I'm telling you, man, the feeling that I had at that time was I just wanted to buy this guy dinner. I wanted to have a drink with him. I wanted to have a shot and say, you're the fucking baddest ass dude in the world. You know what I mean? You don't know what this means to me. And I walk in there and I said, he's like, you Joe? And I was like, yeah. He's like, here's the tapes. And I was like, man, you want to get a drink or something? He's like, nah, I got to go, man. See you later. And he fucking left. And I'm standing there holding the tapes, in this place. And I'm like, man, I mean, the feeling was, it was kind of a disappointment, you know, because I really wanted to thank him, you know.
But I'm a big divine intervention guy. There's so many things happen in my life that there's just no way. Like there's just no way.
Yeah.
And that's one of those moments.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, dude, the fact that you found them, the fact that somebody read that in a magazine, and it's not like today where hey, text Joe at this number.
Yeah, yeah.
The fact
it's all over Facebook or something.
The fact that person found you is almost a miracle, and the fact that the guy kept them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because I would have been, all right, I don't want this shit, man. Because I get, if you get something and you don't know what it is, hell, nowadays just throw it away, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think the two things that probably crossed his mind when he bought the stuff was, I'll record over the tapes or I'll use them or I'll whatever. And it doesn't matter, you know what I mean? Yeah.
He did?
Well, there might have been a few because I didn't get all the tapes back when I got them. But at the time, I didn't know that. Like I got these in 2006. I took them home, you know, I got them, and like a few months later, I went online. I found a recorder in Texas, and I bought it, and I brought it to the house, and I hooked it up, and I put one of the tapes on, and they were like, you know, if you know a lot about tape, like from back in the day, you know, it kind of gets sticky, and it kind of gets like, you know, it looked like it had a little bit of mold on it. These tapes have been around for a long time.
Absolutely.
And, you know, they've been in garages. Who knows where the hell they've been. And I put one on and and the tape like wasn't spinning properly. It wasn't moving. And I was like, wait a minute. I was like, I don't want to break these tapes, you know. And I knew there's processes that you can do to save old tapes or do whatever. So I was like, at some point I'm going to do that. So I just put all the tapes away. The recorder is sitting in my shed, like upright, sideways. Like I never, you know what I mean? Like I think I paid $800 or $600 for it. Had it shipped to me from Texas, and I've never really kind of used it. But the tapes I kind of put in the closet, and I put them aside, and we'll kind of pause there. But the other thing I want to mention to you is what happened during that time too. This guy named Joe Vaccarino that has a magazine or book in Baltimore. This guy did this personally. And I'm trying to think of the name. I think it's called Baltimore Bands. You can look that up. But he's like, this guy has taken his life or a portion of his life to put all the bands in Baltimore from a certain period to a certain period. All these original or local bands are in this book.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So we're in that book, right?
That's
Our
awesome.
band's in that book. But at the time, he reads the story I wrote. He goes into this record store called True Vine Records. And he's telling this guy about the story. This guy in True Vine Records, Ian, bought my brother's records. So the landlord came in, sold the records to Ian, which was across town. Remember now, my brother lives downtown. There's 5 or 6 record stores down there in town that he could have sold those records to.
No guilt.
Yeah. So he went cross town, sold my records, sold his records to this guy named Ian. Ian buys the records. You know, you'll see it in my documentary I'm putting out, but Ian did an interview with me. He bought the records. He said he was nervous. He was walking around on his cell phone, you know, talking shit, didn't really care about the records. He buys the records. He realizes afterwards there's these 45s in there, these white sleeve 45s with leaf on it. So he like opens them up and he puts the first track on, which is Food Stamps. And he's like, holy shit. Like Food Stamps was a funk tune. We had Food Stamps on one side, How Do I Know on the other side of the record. One side was funk, one side was rock. The funk side had like today you call it a drum break, but it was just a break where the drums just played a steady kind of funky beat. The DJs, that's like gold.
Yeah.
And especially some, you know, like an unfound record that's not, you know, never been found before. So he starts, you know, calling all his friends about this band, Leaf. Have you ever heard of them? No, we haven't heard of them. You got to come check this record down. So everybody comes down there and they start buying them from $30, $40, $50 a copy. You know, this is just a record that we could hardly sell for $3 to $5 at one point. He saw them, and then he puts them on the internet, and the guy puts them up for $75, and they start selling. So next thing you know, they go from $75 to $150. People are bidding on them. They're going for $200 and $300 a copy. So this is happening too. And, you know, and this record store owner winds up contacting me from Joe and says, hey, man, one of the other things that happened was one of the records went to London, and a record company called BEE, they have a record label over there, and this guy put a compilation of breakbeat records and stuff on his double vinyl album. It's called Mr. Thing and Strange Breaks, if you want to look it up. But and I think that's probably getting a lot of money now because it's a kind of a rare record too. So he had some, you know, he was telling me about that because they had some money for me, royalties, because they put it on this album over there in London. So all this shit is happening after my brother died. Like, you know what I mean?
Crazy.
Like, you talk about divine intervention. Like, the music is blowing up more than it ever would.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It is. The music is awesome.
And especially, like, here's what like, during my documentary, I mentioned this, but, like, could you imagine if, and this is the weird thing about it, like, if I'd have just went there and cleaned out my brother's apartment and took that shit and just put it in my closet, a lot of this shit would have never happened.
Yeah.
You know? So as screwed up as that landlord was, some of the shit he did activated what we had done.
Yeah. Yeah.
If that's strange.
Butterfly effect.
Yeah. So that's going on. So, you know, I'm getting some retribution from that. I'm getting some, you know, payments from that. And then there was a guy out of New York who owns Fraternity Records, kept contacting me about reissuing the 45 record. Hey, man, we got to reissue. And there was several people that did it, you know. And finally, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm not looking to make money out of it. I just want my brother's music to be heard, you know. So we wound up doing a green vinyl reissue of Food Stamps, and that record sold. You know, I think that's pretty much sold out now, but that sold very well. And right now it does very good on Spotify. Like, Spotify, Food Stamps probably gets 5,000, 6,000 streams a year, which is not amazing, but for a record that was just in a closet.
Yeah. I mean, reality of what's a shame is, like, you know, y'all are really good.
Thank you.
And imagine, I mean, you're a musician now too. I mean, Joe's still a musician. He still plays. So, but my point in that, like, at that time, at the age you guys were, the things that you were singing about, the writing, the lyrics, like, I mean, it impacted, like, it was that time. It was a great story of that time that, like, was missed from that music perspective, if you know what I mean, that story of it, because it never got out there.
Yep.
And if it would have got out there at that time and you guys would have gone, it may have been, you know, hell, you could have sold millions of it. You never know.
Yeah.
But to me, what's amazing, to me, it's just amazing the fact that the journey and how, like, I believe your brother is believing in it, and he's there watching and happy about it. That's my personal thought on it, you know, my kind of religious part on it. But I just, it's such justice to me. Like, it's justice.
Oh yeah.
For all the shit that happened. You know?
Yeah. So, I mean, we had a lot of that stuff going on, you know, where that was building up and going on. So at that time, you know, I was living in Florida. I was working. I was busy with life, doing things.
Absolutely.
And I wanted, my plan was to put the music out. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to eventually get it heard. And, you know, like you said, I continued to play. I have my own band called First Coast Friends of Funk, which what started that up was, you know, when I moved to Jacksonville, I didn't really know anybody, and they didn't know me. And I knew I could play, and but, you know, it's an average really good musician. If they don't know you, you're not part of their clique, you're not part of whatever. So, but I was playing in a couple different bands. I was like, well, you know, what I'd like to do is, like, bring musicians together from various bands that don't play together and have them play on my originals.
It's like a jam session.
Yeah. But play on my original tunes, you know, and bring them into the studio. And a lot of it was like, you know, like, I'd play some of them the tracks beforehand, but a lot of it was just bring people in the studio and let them do their thing to my music. Yeah. You know, give them some instruction, produce it a little bit, but at the same time say, I want you to come out of your box.
Yeah, let them roll.
Yeah. So we did an album in 2011. We did a couple, and that was with some various people. J Dash, who did the WAP tune, which was really famous there for a while, and he's great dude, man. He's amazing. Like, I went to him. He didn't know me out of nowhere. He was playing downtown Jacksonville. I said, hey, Jay, I was talking to his cousin. I was like, you think Jay would play on my record? And he's like, probably, man, you got to talk to him. So I met him, one of the greatest people in the world, Brady Clampett, who plays a lot and has his music career in Jacksonville, played on it and did a lot of singing. Patrick Evans, which actually toured with Mariah Carey as a background vocalist, did some stuff on the record. So I had a really good group of people on that record and tried to push that. And then 2013, we came back and did a couple songs together. Not a lot of those people was on it. It was just kind of the core group of me, Brady, Tom Rowe. I play bass and drums on it. So when I write music, I play bass. So I play the bass and drum tracks. And then, we'd have some special guests come in and play keyboards or some horns or something. I said Tom Rowe. Tom Rowe played saxophone on it. So we did that. And then in 2015, I did another album, and I changed the name up to FCF of Funk because I started expanding a little bit more, and I had Danny Bedrosian from Funkadelic play keyboards on it, that's album amazing. You got to look up First Coast Friends of FCF of Funk. Up your game.
Up your game. Up your game. I love it. I love how also like I read part of it where your brother like would have you play in like a different room or something to get the sound right.
Yeah. When we first started recording, I'd be up in the kitchen and he'd be in the basement and shit, But we did that to get sound separation. You know what I mean? Like, you don't think that we didn't have common sense, but he knew enough to like put me upstairs so that the drums wouldn't bleed on his tracks or whatever.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, so I was, and the reason why I bring that up is because I was doing that, in a span of time, and I just didn't really. It wasn't that I wasn't thinking about that music, but I knew it was a task to do what I wanted to do, and I didn't know what it would take, what it would cost, or whatever. And I was on the verge of doing another album. At the end of 2023, I was like, I want to get back in. I wrote all these new originals. I want to get back. And I want to get back in the studio again. And I had some plans. I got some really cool songs. And then something hit me, man. It's just like at that time, there was a lot of racial divide and different things going on. And I started thinking about the album. And I was like, you know what? I said, this might be the time to put this album out. And this was in 2023. And I was thinking about it. I was like, well, if I do this, we put the cassette out in 94. So 24 is 30 years.
Yeah, 30 years.
So it's like 30 plus years after this stuff was recorded. And I was like, maybe this is the time. Maybe I'll put my thing aside and I'll do it. So I got in touch with this place right outside of Nashville called the Tape Farm. And I contacted them. I said, hey, I have these tapes. Can you guys transfer them? Can you, there's a process called baking where they put them in some kind of oven. And they I guess they draw the moisture out of them and it puts them back into a condition where they can transfer.
Yeah.
So we transferred them from analog to digital, which it's not really what I wanted to do, but I was like, if I do that, I know what I can do in the studio. So that was the first step, and I had that done. So at Divine Intervention, I'm gonna bring another one on you. So
I believe it.
So I send this stuff in I want to say in August or September to this guy to get it done. And I don't know, sometime in October, he's like, yeah, I pretty much got the tapes done. I'll be sending them to you soon, whatever. And I was like, cool, okay. Man, the tapes arrive on Halloween. Halloween is my brother's birthday.
Oh, shit.
And the tapes arrive, not the tapes, but the transfers and everything arrive on his birthday. And I was like, that's crazy as shit. You can't make this shit up, man.
No, you can't.
It wasn't planned like that. Nobody was trying to do that. And it arrives on his birthday, which is Halloween.
You're the man, Billy.
Yeah. So, they came back. And then that's when I had them. And I was I downloaded this bullshit program because I don't have Pro Tools or anything like that. So I downloaded this program just so I could start listening to them. And one of the first tapes I put in, I hear my brother's guitar kick off, and then I come in with this heavy ass drums and shit. I was like, what the fuck is that? What is that? And I'm listening to it, and I was like, and then I'm starting to remember it a little bit, and that was the last song that we recorded.
Oh, that's awesome.
And
that was the first one you listened to?
Yeah, one of the first ones. Yeah. And Ding Dong was on that same tape. So Ding Dong and the song that's now called Trouble was on that tape. And I really pulled up Ding Dong because I just wanted to hear it. You know, the title just like, I got to listen to this song. I know it's, so I pulled that up, and then, you know, what is now Trouble was right after Ding Dong. And it was just a guitar track and drums. And we were just fucking slamming, man. My brother came up with an idea, and he's like, hey, I got this. Because that's how he would be. He was like, either we'd work it out partying, we'd work out something, and then we'd lay it down. Musicians know what I'm talking about. Or we would, you know, like sometimes in the studio, he would just throw something down and he would just say, follow this. And on a whim, you would do it. Not all the time, but once this particular time, I think we played it maybe a little bit before we put it down, but then we put it down. And at the end, we did this kind of long improv. We were just improv, you know, on the way out. And, you know, our thoughts were always, well, we can fade it out, you know, whatever. Yeah. You know, because that's what you're thinking when you're doing it. You're just like, let's just do some shit and we can always hit the fader, you know.
That's how I live my life.
Yeah, and that's when it dawned me. I was like, man, I have, and here's the other strange thing is at the same time the Beatles were putting out their last record. This shit was happening like the same time. And this wasn't planned. It wasn't like I heard the Beatle thing and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do what the Beatles did. Yeah. This shit just happened to coincide and come together. And I listened to that and I was like, man, I got a track that I can actually work with my brother, you know, 18 years after he died. I could sit there and work with my brother in the studio and do a song, you know. So, you know, I sat there and I was, you know, I work from home on my computer, and if my work listens to this tape, they're going to find out. I don't care. But I was there one day and I was listening to the track, and, you know, the title Trouble just came to me, and these lyrics just started coming out, you know, and I was just thinking about me and him and all the crazy shit we would do, man, in the neighborhood. And, you know, I mean, it was just crazy shit. It was just wild, you know. It was
we
wild.
We all did it, man.
Yeah, wild, crazy ass shit.
If you were lucky enough to do it.
Yeah. It was just wild, crazy ass fun stuff. I mean, some of it was kind of borderline crazy, but I mean, it was just, you know, he would call the cops up on crazy shit and do weird shit. We'd be all drunk in the basement, and they'd come in the house with guns drawn. Weird shit, crazy shit. But a lot of, and then there was just other nonsense, just drinking. And one time, and I got
sounds like a good time.
Yeah, I got to tell this story because it's funny as shit. But my brother one time, I worked at a paper stand, right? That's how I made some cash as a kid. And like we would sometimes drink some beer up there. Well, we were drinking some beer up there, and these cops came, and one of them was this Sergeant Barger. So if you're out there, you'll probably remember this story. But so Sergeant Barger and his crew come, and they dump our beer out. They pour it down the sewer hole, right? They poured all the beer out. My brother's like, them fucking guys didn't have to do that. I was like, well, you know, whatever. You know, everybody, being an adult now, they're just doing their job. Yeah. We were out there drinking. So my brother, right in front of our house, writes, Sergeant Barger sucks in the middle of the street with spray paint and calls the police. So the police come to the house, right? And he's like, somebody wrote this shit out, and I don't know. And they're all looking at him. And this is what's funny about it. Like, you know, everybody out there, police loving it. We all love the police, so don't get me wrong. We're not going there. But it's like the police were like laughing their ass off, and they're like taking pictures of it, shit. You know, that shit went all around the Baltimore Police District. I'm sure somebody out there right now is looking at that saying, yeah, I remember that shit. But that's kind of crazy shit he would do, you know. And, you know, of course, they didn't lock up. They couldn't do nothing to him, but it was just funny, you know. And I think at one point he saw my brother again and said, I knew you did that.
Of course he did.
You know, kind of snickered a little bit.
That even makes it funnier.
Yeah. But it was like one of them things that was like, it wasn't, you know, he was just trying to get back at him for putting the beer out. But that's the kind of some of the crazy shit. So that's where Trouble came from. That's where that song came from. But yeah, so I just, you know, just decided it was time to do the album, time to finish some tracks. And, you know, I know a lot of great musicians in Jacksonville living down there. Of course, you know, I live in Fernandina now, but which is right outside of Jacksonville. But I was just like, man, I'm going to get some people and finish some of these tracks and produce it and get it done. And that's where it came to be.
And you released it October 1st, right?
Yeah. Well, my original plan was to release the album on Halloween, which is his birthday, and that's about the time it came. Yeah. When it came, it came. I think I finally got some copies in the mail on November 1st. Okay. But the original plan was to release it on October 31st. But Like I was
31st, yeah.
yes. And then, I just started thinking about it, and I was like going to release some videos going up towards it and everything. So I got everything lined up, as all musicians know, when you release stuff, you got to, line everything up with your streaming services and all that. And I was actually doing a CD version of the vinyl as well through a different company, and they were responsible for the streaming services. So I just decided to go ahead and just put it streaming as of October 1st and actually released it as October 1st date.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so tell everybody, so that's on Spotify and all the...
Yeah. Actually, I just wanted to bring this. I don't know if you can see that on the film there, but...
Killer album.
Yeah, this is the album here, and it's Leave Too Many Junkies. It's a funk and rock time capsule. It's from 30 years ago, and I brought some copies for you guys, definitely to take. I hope you got somewhere to play some vinyl.
Yeah.
But, we really wanted to do, something, or I wanted to do something like when I grew up, like when you got an album, man, the whole thing was like looking at it and, like looking inside of it and make sure you had some things to read. And there's some pictures of the house and different things, and a little bit of story about my brother and all that on there. And, of course, all the credits, and there's a download card in there with 23 tracks on it total.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, and then of course the vinyl itself is like a pretty cool clear vinyl there. So if you can see that,
I love it, man.
yeah. So
I mean, you did a good job, and he'd be proud, definitely. I mean, that's
yeah.
awesome.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I think the music's really good. I think, like we were talking earlier, I mean, I think good music stands the test of time, man. And
yeah, I mean, I was listening to it. Like you wouldn't like, I wouldn't know that was 30 years. Like you wouldn't. The thing that's cool about it is it's relevant today. It's it's relevant.
Yeah,
the things you're singing about, it's relevant.
Yeah, Yeah, it's not dated, and it's it's good music stands the test of time. Like you were talking about your sons, and I was talking about some of the people I know, and how they're into the older music. And that's because I'm not saying new music's bad. I'm not saying that. Don't get me wrong. All music's good. I do have to say that, there's concerns about music to me, energy-wise, and the way we record music and the way we do things. Maybe I'm old school or whatever, but, I've recently made some posts about this, but it's just like, back in the day, this album, there's no click tracks on it, so everything on there is like just natural timing and the way the music flows. And just about everything that's recorded nowadays is recorded to a click track. So you go in the studio, there's a timing that you put down, and you record to that timing. Old school music was recorded to that drummer or whoever drove the beat of that song. So when you had that, you had some, a little bit of peaks and valleys, and everything wasn't exactly right, but you had, and that gave it feeling, that gave it, and it also gives it energy, when you bring something down a little bit and you bring it back up.
It's like live. That's why I like live music.
Yeah.
You don't. Yeah, it doesn't sound like exactly what you were in the recording studio, right? It's not a perfect world where they're managing everything, but that's why I think live music is so. People want to go to concerts. People want to go to the local bar. People want to hear
exactly.
It's real, right?
Yeah. So to your point, 2 days ago I went and seen Justin Timberlake, which I like Justin Timberlake. I think he's a great guy. I think he's funny. Love his songs. I didn't feel energy at that concert. I hate to tell everybody.
Yeah.
But, a lot of his music there's a lot of pre-recorded shit going on there. I think a lot of the vocals are pre-recorded, my personal opinion, whether I'm right or not. It just didn't have a feeling of a live. The production was great. The dancing was great. The dude's a great entertainer. He's a great singer. I love him to death. I do. Yeah. I'm not saying this to be an asshole. I'm just saying that me and my wife sat there and watched the concert, and when a song ended, I didn't feel that energy, man. I didn't feel the energy of live music. I didn't feel the energy. You know what I mean?
There's nothing worse. I went to a concert. I won't name who it is because I don't give a shit either way. But I won't name who it is. But I went to a concert. This has been a while, and this dude's famous, man. He was lip syncing.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here thinking, like, we grew up going to Van Halen concerts, Rush, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? He's got you're $300 a ticket, and this guy's lip syncing.
Yeah.
Yeah, great entertainment. You can come out in your jeans or whatever boots, do whatever you're doing. But I don't give a shit about it. Maybe the ladies like it. I'm like, dude, that's insulting to fans. And my personal opinion is it's insulting. If you're going to watch anybody that's fucking lip syncing, you need to listen to some real music because it's
and I I know a lot of these things are productions and dancing and all that shit, and I get it. And like I said, I'm not talking bad about him because I love that dude, man. I think he's a funny dude. I think he's intelligent. He's great. He's actually a great actor too. So
I don't like him, so I'm just letting everybody know.
Yeah.
I mean, Joe likes him. I'm just saying I don't fucking like the guy at all. But anyway, Joe likes him, and that's good. That's what music is about. You like different preferences.
Yeah, I mean, I like all different styles of music. But like you said, I mean, when you when you went and seen a concert, I remember seeing one of my first concerts was Van Halen.
Oh yeah, well yeah, that's why we liked each other.
Yeah, and one of my first, and it wasn't like the record, man. It was a lot of bullshit going on. There was a lot of scrappiness. The words weren't the same, but the energy was there. Like you felt them guys like jamming and putting their all into it, and you were like, "Wow, that's fucking Van Halen."
Yeah,
and like David Lee Roth's being David Lee Roth, and you're like, "Well, he kind of sung that one like shit," but you didn't care.
You didn't care.
You know what I mean? Because the energy was there, and I just hope, man, that we. And I'm not saying all music's like that because there's a lot of great music. One of the things me and my wife did recently, man, is we sat there and we, I got Spotify, which I didn't, I wasn't planning on getting anything like that. But I did learn that you could spend like $10 a month and have all the fucking music in the world. And that's probably the reason why nobody gives a shit about buying an album anymore because you can. But
it's convenience.
Yeah. So we sat there one day and I just put like one song in of somebody I liked and I just let music play. And there was like all these artists that came up, man, that were like amazing. You know what I mean? So that's probably the good thing about it, that you can sit there.
Attention to genre you like.
Yeah. And it just plays all these. And then what I did was I just backspace Spotify, man, and I just like saved all these songs in my playlist. So now there's like, I got this playlist if anybody wants it, but there's like 50 songs that now I listen to that I don't even know who they are, but it's amazing music. So there's so much,
It's cool because, I mean, I find myself like, I mean, I have Apple Music and I have all that stuff, but what really kind of kicked my loving for music again was, and I've talked about it on the show before, but, it's kind of how, we got into this Salty's live music and how we even came to you, how we even started talking to you. I was in a music store and I bought a t-shirt and the lady behind it said, "Do you like that band?" I said, "Oh, this is a band." I thought it was a cool t-shirt because it had a hot chick on it. And she goes, "Oh, that's a band called Hush Money. They're right here local. You want me to play their music?" So she put their music on in the store. Never would have heard of this band. Never would have found them. But we got to know those guys, had them on the podcast just like this, got to hear them, and it was just like so raw. It made me think like, wow, like it personalized it. Like I saw them, I met them, I went to their shows, I felt like their music, I knew what they were writing about. Like that part to me of music is really kind of being missed.
Yeah.
There's, you can go out and whoever you're, Morgan Wallen, whoever you like, right? Great. They're everywhere and you hear them and you get kind of, but there's so many talented people that are really true musicians. And that whole live experience or hearing someone or like really seeing their personality, it's the only reason you and I are sitting here today.
Yeah.
It's not because Van Halen's good or Justin Timberlake. It has nothing to do. I've listened to music my whole life.
Yeah,
but like it sparked something like these local musicians, just like you and your brother 30 years ago. These local guys in a basement, banging shit out, rocking. Writing the cops suck pecker on the floor. like that album right there, Leaf. To me, like that's music, man. And like people don't get to feel that anymore because there's not as many we grew up going to the punk in the punk bars and all that stuff. It's just that feeling or that humanness of it. You're alive.
Yeah.
And you kind of get that when you listen to music. I go to the gym every day. I've got my tunes on. I play different music, whatever. But it's just not. It's that feeling. It's that passion of it. And I don't know, man. I was so like when I heard your story. I mean, I was like, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Like, and that humanized, there's so many things in what you guys did to make music, where you're at today, what you do to brought back, what happened to your brother. Like, it's fucking life.
Yeah.
And we my personal thing is I'm going to get off my stool here in a second, but it's life, right? And I mean, the problem is we have, just like you eat, you want to go somewhere to eat. Well, I can tell you around our office, there's probably 150 places you can eat, right? So you don't think about it. It's no big deal. I'm just going to eat. You know, no big deal. I want to listen to music. I go on Spotify, whatever. But in that radius, there's two dudes in a basement fucking cranking some good tunes.
Yeah.
Let's get it out there. Like, how do you get these people out? So I'm real big now on, I got the bug for independent artists, man. I got the bug to promote musicians that are really good and whatever. Just think about today if that was you and your brother today.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, you may have been playing next to Van Halen.
Yeah. That's
sorry for that rant.
No. I mean, and that's the thing, man. And I just wish more people, out there would. The other thing that I wish is, if your friend or somebody does local music, man, and they put something out, listen to it. And don't be afraid to tell them I don't like that. Yeah. The one thing I could tell you in my music, if somebody told me I don't like that or, that's not my thing, I listen to it. That would mean so much more than just not telling me shit and not even paying attention to what I'm doing.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like if you said, man, I listened to it, but it's not really my thing, but it sounded okay, or whatever. I'd be like, yeah, man, thank you.
Yeah, well, I mean, but you want feedback, but I mean, today's genre too is all popish, right? So I'm not a pop guy. I hate pop. And so I mean, if you listen to the masses, I mean, the world is so big. I mean, we just had a Turkish rock star on here, Batu, who's amazing.
Yeah, I saw that.
He's amazing. Yeah. And he grew up like listening to the Ramones and stuff like that. And, he Bad Company and whatever. And music is so broad. You can do indie, funk, punk, whatever the hell's out there. There's so many genres, but I think like pop gets all the push or kind of pop country now. I don't know if it's not really country, but I mean, that's a problem because there's an audience of millions and millions of people across the world that want to hear funk.
Yeah.
And if everyone comes out and says, well, I'm a pop star and you got 10 dweebs playing pop, I want to hear the punk guy. I want to hear the kid coming to his video. I don't like that. I like the Sex Pistols. My dad was a freak. He liked the Sex Pistols. I listen to that. I want to hear that kid, but I don't know. That's my rant. What do I know? I'm just sitting in the McBaster studio. I mean,
that's the thing. I mean, but listen to music, man. Just listen to it and just don't listen to, if a band puts out an album, listen to the other cuts. Yeah. That's the other thing. If you remember, man, the whole thing about an album was you got it. And there was always that one song they released, and you played that damn song over and over again. But over time, man, you would listen, because back in the day when you had a record, you put the damn record on, and you were like, to change that shit every 5 minutes was a pain in the ass. So you would let the record play, and eventually, that third song on side one or that fifth song on side two, it's
better than the hit.
Like blew up in your head, and it blew up on radio, and you were like, man, that song's amazing. Or it was an album cut that, one of my favorite Prince tunes. I'm a big Prince fan.
I love Prince.
One of my favorite Prince tunes was the back of a 45 called "She's Always in My Hair," and I love that song. Yeah. And it wasn't even, a hit or a record, but I flipped that 45 and heard that tune. I was like, man, I love that tune. It's just.
It's because it's a story, man. I mean, that's why I think lyrics are so important. Like lyrics to a song and meaning. Like you guys were obviously singing about things that were going on socially, right? Mm-hmm. And at the time, it should have made a lot of sense to a lot of people. It's the lyrics. What does that song mean to you as a listener, right? And they may be singing about something you don't really care about, and I'm like, oh shit, man, that reminded me of my brother. Yeah, that reminded me of my father. That reminded me of whoever. And that's why, to me, just to your point, they play the same damn song over and over again on the radio. I mean, shit. Yeah. Play something different, right? Play something different. But I agree, man. Well, I'm not a musician, so I have absolutely no credibility in the music space.
Yeah, but you're a listener.
Other than a listener.
You're a listener. And that's more important than anything. You know what I mean? Like what the average musician needs, man, they need a listener. Yeah. We all need listeners. Like if a musician wants anything, it's not as much as buying their T-shirt or doing this. They want you to listen to what they did. Yeah. To put music out, and I'm going to get on a soapbox for a minute.
Do it. I'm stepping off. Joe's coming on.
But, you don't realize what musicians go through to put together a project. You know, it costs thousands of dollars to go into a studio. You know, you pay $80 to $150 an hour to sit there and mix music and put music down. Which you add that shit up, you know, and you spend weeks in the studio. That's a lot of damn money. The cost to put shit out. You go through all this shit in your life to put something out, a product out, and you put it out, and you all you want people to do is listen. That's all you want.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the hardest thing. If you could just get listeners, if everybody out there could just listen to your friends and people that have music and just find a new artist, man. Find somebody locally, you know, that you've never heard before and just check them out, go see them.
Yeah.
You know, and we're all guilty of it, man. You know, even me as a musician, I mean, I play just about every weekend. So it's a lot of times if I'm off weekend, man, I just want to sit at home and like, you know, sit in my backyard.
Drink a beer.
Yeah, like sit at my fire pit and say, hey, man, I'm home this weekend. But, you know, at one point, you know, I thought to myself, you know, every month I want to go see somebody, you know. If I had the time, I would stick to that. But that's probably something y'all can do, you know, maybe once a month or every 2 months. Go out and see somebody you've never seen before. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Go watch a video that you never watched before. Listen to an album. Just put the album on and, you know, cook some bacon or something. You know what I mean? Just like, you know, check somebody out. I mean, that's all musicians want, man. That's all they want.
Well, I've got a solution for that. And this was not set up to do that. I mean, you know, Joe, thank you, Joe, for signing up to our band groupies service. We and a lot of people don't know because we didn't announce it public a lot, but I mean, we wrote a service called Band Groupies. It's built around local musicians and venues that play live music. And just to Joe's point, since he eloquently stated it, I'm interjecting it now, it was built for that. It was built to highlight local independent musicians that you can follow and see where they're at, where they're playing, and keep you up to date at all times so that you don't have to go out and scurry over all the different things that are available on social media, Spotify, whatever it may be. You find music genres you like, it'll present a musician to you. You can dig into them, go watch them here at the Mexican restaurant or whatever it is. It was built for that because I think from my perspective as a listener, I want to find those people that maybe someone doesn't know. Mm-hmm. And how are you going to find them?
Yep.
Because you're not gonna dig through Spotify and find, you know, Hush Money or, you know, whoever, Jet Black Roses or all these people because they're one of millions. But if I'm in my area and that band's in my area and I follow them, I'm gonna see where they're doing and I can listen to their Spotify through the service if you want to. My point in that is if you love music, you like music. You know, there are things out there that you can do it and it doesn't take a lot of time. So that's my pitch for bandgroupies.com. We wrote it. We wrote it for musicians because musicians told us just what Joe had said and problems they were having being found. It wasn't something that we had 40 years in the music business. It was just, it made a lot of sense to us. So there's my plug, my shameless plug. It's my fucking podcast. So
there you go. Yeah, why, you know, so sign up whether you're a listener or a musician. And if you're a listener, sign up and look up Sound Waves and Flowing Grits and come see us in Fernandina.
That's right.
You know, or wherever we're playing.
That's right. You better have your North Carolina trip in there. Did you?
Yeah. I believe it's all in there.
All right. Well, then see how North Carolina people know of Joe. See, all courtesy.
Yeah, so it's really cool what you're doing with that, man. I mean, that's what we all need. We all need a little help, and anybody that's out there. I mean, this is what you guys done for me. I really appreciate it. You know,
man, we enjoyed it.
Dawson's great blog, and you know, having me. I'm glad I could get here in the studio. It's more comfortable, man, than being sitting in a screen at home. You know,
absolutely. And I mean, your family now. You know, we broke the bread in the McBastard studio.
Now, man.
Your skeleton's drinking, I'm drinking, you're drinking, I'm drinking. Yeah. We're toasting. I mean, that's what life's about, right?
It's 5 o'clock somewhere, right?
It is. It's not here, but that's okay. It's always good for a Miller Lite or Creature Comfort. You're a local brewery national now. Congrats, Creature. Yeah. Do a deal with us. My God. Well, man, I tell everybody like where to go. You know, to get the album, you know, you can listen to it on Spotify, whatever you want to do. But I really want this story out there. Before I let Joe say that, if you go to saltymf.com under our recent blog, you'll see Leaf, you'll see the album cover. The whole story's there, kind of what Joe just kind of reiterated and gave his pieces of it. But it was very well him and Dawson worked together to articulate that. And anyone out there that's in the music publishing, from a magazine perspective, from a newsletter perspective, from a national media, it's a story that really is amazing. And I think people would really enjoy it. So any of you editorial people in that magazines, you need to check it out, and let's get in touch with Joe, and let's facilitate that, because it's a story. It's an amazing story that I don't think anyone can do justice to. It's unbelievable. Divine intervention, whatever you want to call it. Billy's birthday on Halloween. It's interesting. The universe is speaking. Pay attention.
Yeah, exactly. So the album, it's available on all your major streaming services, Amazon, iTunes, Spotify. You can buy it from Spotify. You can download it several places. Any of those majors, you'll find it everywhere on there. We're selling the physical vinyl album at my website, or if you're local, you see me local, I'll have copies with me. Of course, I'll sell, but it's my website is www.fcfoffunk.com, and you can buy the CD or the album on there. There's some other stuff. I actually have some of the 45s of the Leaf food stamp records still.
Check out
the reissue. So food stamps. Check that out. Google it if you're a DJ or whatever, and you might even know about it if But it was you can look up breakbeat records and food stamps will come up. I mean that's awesome. That's how kind of crazy it went. But yeah, man, I'd love for you to, if anything, just listen to it. I mean that's why I did it. It's a tribute to my brother and our music from back in the day. And like I said, it's kind of pre-internet, man. So it's like it was the greatest years. It was. I think 1994 was called the greatest year. And, this wasn't all done in 94. It was probably done like 91 through 96, a lot of it. But still, I mean, it's really good music. It's funk, it's rock. It's a mixture of some different genres. Not all the songs sound alike, and it's just a good product, I think.
It's awesome. I've listened to it, and I will tell you this, Joe, you've the tribute to your brother was very good. Anyone would be honored to be your brother. You did a good job, man. I appreciate that.
No, I appreciate it, man. I hope he's out there somewhere, smiling and laughing and enjoying it. So, and that's what I want. That's like I said earlier, man. People just want listeners. We just want you to listen.
That's absolutely.
If you listen to it, then that's what it's all about, man. That's what rock and funk's about.
Yeah. Well, we're trying to work on, maybe we can just like have people sample and put songs or new releases up. We're not trying to monetize it, but to give those local guys even more. It's like, so it's focused through band groupies. So we want to get your opinion on that.
No, that's great.
How to do it.
Yeah. And I forgot to mention too, there's a YouTube channel out there that we have that you can look up Leaf. Look up Leaf, the original Leaf. Because the other thing I forgot to mention too is, since we did this, there's actually a European band called Leaf.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they might even come after me and try to sue me. I don't know at some point. But we were the original. So, but I think if you look up the original Leaf band on YouTube, you'll find our site. And I've been putting up a bunch of lyric videos. Trouble, I did a video actually in Ireland that I did a video of that song and released that. But the rest of them are more like lyric videos that I've done to the song. So you can check out a lot of that too. So.
That's awesome. Joe, you've been awesome, man. And I appreciate you. You're welcome here anytime. And hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the McBastard studio.
Yeah, it's great, man.
Next time we need to get you up here and you can sing some tunes. We can bring those drums in there. We've had
We'll come up and play some music for you, man. That'd be great.
We would love it.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Well, Salty Nation, that's it. Joe Senger, check it out. Amazing story. Good guy. Great musician. You learned a lot about life in this. And hey, man, it's just life. But stay true. Stay true to your brothers. Stay true to your sisters. But for the day, that's all.